Hello everybody, it is Al Knight, it is Brony time, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Now, here we are, we're talking with Vera, the actual forger, and we knew she was the actual forger long before that trial. At least Phoenix knew going into that trial that she was the actual forger of the evidence. I think he put Apollo Justice in there because he knew Apollo Justice would find the truth. But we're kind of going back and recollecting 7 years ago and how what happened 7 years ago relates to the present. And we were talking to Vera here, so let's continue. Let's ask her about the forgeries. So your father tells me you're good at painting all sorts of things. I really like painting a lot. Father is always very happy when I paint them exactly the same. So you did this too? Oh yes, that was my first job. Your first? All I used to do was paint the same thing I saw, but this was totally different. The pen slips and the way the writer held the pen and the pressure on the nib. I had to use a microscope and analyze it on the computer. She seems happy. Odd, her work was the last nail in the grammary coffin. Guess no one told her. They're the best in the world. Huh? Oh, you mean true grammary, of course. Father gave it to me. Your father? But I asked him about it. He didn't know how you got it. I guess I just took it. Yeah, took it. Father got a letter from that person. That person? You mean that letter was from the client? Oh, we talked about the Grammarys forever that day. I'm sure that's why I was sent that stamp. I didn't want to just send it back, so I took it. They're a sneaky one, this client. So they were trying to get on our good side. So, you met the person that asked you to do this job, and you talked with them. What's this about a good luck charm you received? I can't talk about it. Eh? If I do, it won't work anymore. That's what I was told. Yeah, but I really have to know. Right, time to do some psyche unlocking. You seem to trust this client quite a lot, in fact, because they gave you this stamp. No, that's not why. They listened to me, to my problem. The problem? That keeps her inside all the time? Don't go outside if you don't want to. That's what they told me. But when I was absolutely have to go out, all I had to do was use a good luck charm. A good luck charm that your client gave you. I think I know what your client might have given you, actually. Is this your good luck charm? It's the nail polish. Same one that Kristoff has, actually. This was what they gave you, wasn't it? Ah! The same bottle's over there on your desk. Your good luck charm, right? I heard once, cosmetics were once thought to ward off evil. This is a magic bottle. It has the power. Ah, of course it does. I'll just refrain from commenting any more on that one. I think I know who gave you that bottle, actually. The one who asked you to do this job. Was this the client? It's Kristoff. It was either Valent or Kristoff. This man is a friend of mine. Know him? His name is Kristoff Gavin. He's a lawyer, actually. I promised not to tell! I'm sorry, I can't talk about the client. I promised. If I break my promise, the spell won't work. I don't need a name anymore. I've got my answer. You're pretty confident in this charm, then. I think they might be the devil. Huh? Or maybe an angel? What do you mean? I saw it, or I think I saw it. When they gave me this, I saw the devil's face. Are you saying the client's face looked like the devil's? No, the client was gentle, with a gentle smile. So, where'd you see this devil, then? It was so quick, I don't remember well. But that's when I knew that person wasn't like other people. That's why I believe in my good luck charm. Not sure what this devil she saw was, but it's pretty clear that Christophe Gavin has her charmed. Well, I think that's all. I'll be leaving now. I'm sorry for what happened. I want to apologize to my clients at Grammary. Did I do something bad? What makes you think that? Your eyes, they're sad. Very sad. I'll put on my smile next time I come, promise. I hope to see you smile then too, Vera. Oh, okay. Take care. Thinking back on my first encounter with the young forger, I witnessed something of vital importance that day. Of course, by the time I realized it, it was already too late. Excuse me? Guess we only have the detention center left. What strange sight doth mine eyes behold? Excuse me? 2 men on either side of a single transparent pane, and it seems fickle fate has switched sides, so to speak. The forger of fakes walks freely, while the innocent languishes within these plexiglass confines. There's been no proof that I forged anything, nor proof that I took the life of my dear mentor. Yet these chains cannot hold me for long. The stage awaits. And what, may I ask, awaits you? A little piano and a cold little hole in the wall. But since you are here, what shall we discuss? The shooting of Manaphy Grammary, for one. Who pulled that trigger? Valent or his partner, Zach? His partner vanished before the answer could be found. But to get any closer to truth, this is the place to start. I ever handed to my partner. Knows how to make an exit. That's talent. Yes, he made my attorney's badge disappear, and he never even touched it. Glorious spotlight always leaves someone weeping in the shadows. His very disappearance is itself a revelation. Feeling what? Zach Grammary killed Manaphy. It's as good as a signed confession. That's certainly been public opinion's take on it. I grow tired of my cage. When the time of my release is near, I must go and prepare, planning on jumping back into the magic right away. As long as an audience waits with bated breath, there will be Valent. And also, yes, although my partners disappear, Manaphy's repertoire is mine. Valent Grammary has a tradition to uphold. Is that true? Seen in this light, the trial was quite good to me, verdict or no. And you can't pay for that kind of publicity. The suspicion on you hasn't lifted entirely, Valent. After all, you received one of those letters, too. You were just as obligated to follow Manaphy's instructions as your partner. So I was, but only Zach Grammary followed them. Let us speak no more of who shot what. Now that my partner has vanished, the question is moot. I'm more interested in learning something else, actually. What might that be? I want to know what Manaphy had up his sleeve. How could he coerce you and your partner to kill him? The trick up his sleeve? Ha 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 ha! Perhaps you do not know. Know what? A great magician never reveals his secrets. I didn't think it would be that easy. The audience must remain forever in the audience, bathing in the reflected glow of the spotlight. We'll see about that. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this one. There must be a path leading from the evidence to the truth, and that's what I'm going to find. To ask someone to take a life, even one not long for this world, that's asking someone to commit murder. Yes, our mentor was fond of dramatic moves and dramatic finales, and he got his wish. His life was taken. What weakness could be so powerful as to coerce someone into committing murder? My guess is it was a matter of life or death. Care to explain? Your troupe lived in a world of showmanship. The flashier, the better. And flashy so often means danger, doesn't it? Let us make this as painless as possible. If you have proof of this danger, then show it. Why, that's one of ours! Specially designed for your show, I gather. A single bullet. One shot. What are you suggesting? We were magicians, Mr. Wright, not murderers! I'm not crying murder, Mr. Valent. I'm crying something far more tragic. An accident. Zack and Valent's quick-draw shooter. How long has it been since those shots were last heard? Was the shooting canceled because someone might get hurt? Of course, what other reason could there be? Well, it could have been canceled because someone had already been hurt. Fascinating, my Faustian forging friend. But tell me, what can you prove with a single pistol? Well, tell me what would have happened if there had been an accident. What if one of your bullets took a life on stage? The performance of magic is not concerned with what-ifs. It is concerned with precision. Precisely whom do you claim we shot? Looks like I've chosen the right path. Let's just hope he walks it with me. Life was sacrificed so that the show might go on, and this shows who it was. Aha, oh yeah. It's definitely Thalassa. But that's Zack Gramarye's wife, and Trucy's mother. Thalassa, I believe was her name. Alcazar! But how can you say this? How can you say she was struck by one of our bullets? Still in denial mode, eh? Thalassa was at the greatest risk of being shot. This clearly shows just how much danger she was in. Truth Gramarye's performances were very, very popular. So popular they even made a commemorative stamp at the height of your fame. We're not merely the latest crazed, we were an age, a golden age. It's all here on this stamp. There's Thalassa, yes? Trucy's mother is missing, I hear. What happened to her? I don't know! A part of his memory is still locked up. There's one thing you're failing to address. What's that? As you say, our troop was a world unto itself. If our leader, Magnifi, was so inclined, he could hide anything he wished with ease. But, Mr. Wright, then he would have hid a crime, making him an accomplice. Not a great foundation for blackmail. Valent's got a point. If one of the troop members died in an accident, Magnifi covered it up. His innocence would come into question. Found the right address, Mr. Wright? So close. There has to be something. About how Thalassa's death could affect Zack and Valent's relationship with Magnifi. I see in your eyes, you still have something to say. How can you possibly prove more than you already have? I'll prove why Thalassa's accident tied your hands so completely. It's going to take a little knowledge of the players to crack this one. The accidental death of Zack's wife tied both your hands. This information proves that Majesty held so much power over you. It wasn't a question of who shot Thalassa. Thalassa herself was the problem. What do you mean? She was Zack Gramarye's wife, Trucy's mother, Magnifi Gramarye's only daughter. There was a terrible accident, and the two of you killed your mentor's only daughter. If that wasn't the key to Magnifi's power over you, I don't know what was. It was an accident! There's no proof. None at all! But Thalassa went missing, and your mentor blackmailed both of his disciples. It doesn't take a genius to put one and one together. Ours was a complex family. You mean Truth Gramarye? The master, Magnifi Gramarye, his only daughter, and his two disciples. That does sound like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it? Do not be tempted into faulty flights of fancy. Yes, there was an accident, but that is all it was. An accident. Zack and Valent's tour de force. The guns blaze, the bullets fly straight toward that beautiful body on stage, and crashing pow into everything but her. Now that is magic. It happened one day when we were practicing. Same trick with a new twist. And tragedy. But as for whose bullet stole Thalassa's life, we shall never know the answer. Thalassa disappeared from our lives, and Zack was bereft of his wife. Trucy lost her mother, and Magnifi his daughter. That led to blackmail, I take it? It is all part and parcel of darkness that comes when the curtain falls. Why did Magnifi Gramarye try to cover up the accident? It was his own daughter who died. All I can say is, it was a critical time for true Gramarye. Passing of the torch from Magnifi to Zack and Valent. We all sacrificed so that it might be a success. Thalassa's death was the greatest sacrifice of all, yet, even when a life was extinguished, her presence was not. What do you mean? In time, we, myself and Zack, found we could no longer oppose Magnifi's wishes. Majesty forced us to perform his art for his benefit. I see, I guess I can understand. Meaning he did lose his only daughter. But do you not find cowardice in his actions? To decide to hide the truth of your own daughter's death is one thing. But then to hang that death as a guillotine above our heads. Things were dark behind the scenes at Troop Gramarye, that's for sure. Does Trucy know? She was not told, naturally. Would want to know that their father might have taken their mother's life. True. I had not thought of that accident for a very long time. I'm sorry to dredge up old memories, but this has helped a lot. Not to find Magnifi's slayer, I should think. True. After that accident, there was one who came sniffing, quite persistently. A reporter? He called himself a newsman at the time. Often I spied him lurking about the dressing room doing his research. But you happen to remember his name? What was his name? Sorry, I have forgotten. But in the course of his interviewing, he became quite close to my partner, Zack. I liked him not. I see. His name I do not recall, but his scent, the cloying aroma of mint. Yes, whenever he smiled, which was far too often. I see. Thanks for your help. It does no good to interfere with the past, Mr. Wright. You will not uncover answers, only wounds. I'm sorry. I began to notice a dark curtain hanging over Troop Gramarye, and I began to realize what I had to do. I had to protect Trucy from that darkness. The reporter he mentioned, the newsman, I never learned who that was at the time, though I've got a pretty good idea who it is now. That smile and the sickly sweet smell of mint. The last floss-thin thread connecting Zack Gramarye to this world. Sooner or later, I'd have to track him down. So I guess back in like the modern day when we're like, where the hell is, like, where the hell is Phoenix? He's off on a secret mission. He's been finding all of this information out. But, I guess we will go to Drew's studio, but in the present day. Excuse me? Hey, well, what do we have here? Remember me? Of course I remember you. Journalist meets ex-attorney at bar, end quote. Can I ask what you're doing here? Mr. Measham was poisoned, and his daughters? Oh yes, I know. Oh, why no. Yes. It's caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he had tracked down case just a little quicker, end quote. Were you on the trail of this case the whole time? Zack Gramarye was a good friend. Zack said something to that effect back at the Borscht Vol Club. What a character, what a man. If a little, no, a lot, no, extremely rough around the edges. Do you think I could ask you a few questions? Oh, you serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer. The interviewer, not interviewee. Journalists ask questions, no other way around, end quote. Fine, shoot, I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately. It was tragic what happened to Drew Measham and his daughter. Forgery is a serious crime, and they paid the price. You know what really did them in, though, don't you? Yes, a forged diary page. The night I interviewed him, I found out something about Mr. Measham I hadn't known. What's that? You know, he always felt like he was being watched. Every day, for 7 years. Wall have ears, potatoes have eyes, end quote. Being watched, you mean he felt guilty? No, I'm not talking about feelings here. I felt watched too. The whole time I've been on this case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on back of neck, freaks out, end quote. Because you felt guilty? Why would I feel guilty? You felt like you were being watched, huh? Wonder what it all means. Drew Measham felt like he was being watched. And you along with him. You sure it wasn't just nerves? Nerves? No, it's nothing so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. But I felt it too. Journalist sure he is being watched, end quote. Don't you wonder why Zach Gramery got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? He completely vanishes from that courtroom. Then for 7 years he talks to no one, not a soul. Then just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made. And then he dies. Starting to put the pieces together, are we? And you were being watched this whole time. Maybe not just me, maybe you were too. Me? I met Zach through that case, actually. You mean the shooting of Magnifique Gramery? No, before that. It's not widely known. You mean the accident during the quick draw shooting practice. My, you're well informed. You should have seen me back then. I dug up quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy, all for me. I was younger then, and my days and nights smelled of fresher mint than they do now. Valiant Gramery didn't mention one particularly nosy reporter. In fact, I was on close speaking terms with Magnifique Gramery at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course. Thalassa, was it? Really? Then Thalassa disappeared, quite suddenly at that, and Magnifique wouldn't say a word about it. Yeah, my evil habit got the better of me. Journalist catches scent of scoop, goes on feeding frenzy, end quote. I set up one-on-one interview with Thalassa's husband, see? Zach Gramery. Something strange was in the air over at Troop Gramery in those days. The whole screwy inventor controlling disciples scene started by then, I'm guessing. Thalassa, she was part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me off the record. Sorry, I don't know. Anyway, I kept trying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice, or 5 times, but over time he came to see me as his confidant. He'd been waiting this whole time, 7 years, eh? Waiting? For his big comeback, of course. A big revival of the Magnifique miracle. Of course, it was all a dream. Because of this, the performance rights. In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say the old man didn't give his rights to both Zach and Valiant? So Valiant waited until Zach died, legally at least. The time finally comes, and Valiant's like a kid on Christmas morning. He's getting ready for his show at the Sunshine Coliseum, you know. And if that document sees the legal light of day, it's going to put a bit of a damper on the big show. He's a sorry one, that Valiant Gramery. Lost out to his partner at work, and in love, too. Love? It's the same old story, really. 2 disciples and their mentor's only daughter. One has 3 sides and all of them pointy. A love triangle. That is pretty classic. When you're in a performing troupe, that's your world. It's like family. One with an entire high school's worth of drama, intrigue, and backstabbing. In the middle of all this, Thalassa has Trucy. And then she dies. To find out more about this Thalassa. Mr. Brushel, do you know this person? Do I know that person? Of course. I was friends with Zack after all. He hit me a few times, 5 times actually. But still, I never forget his wife. Thalassa Gramarye. Magnifique Gramarye's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her? Well, why the heck not? So Thalassa married Zack and had Trucy, see? It was her second marriage, actually. You mean she was divorced? I hadn't heard this one before. Not quite. Her late husband was a performer, too. Apparently he died during some gig. Tragic, really? They had only been married 1 year. I didn't know. Ah, but she was a beauty. I still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know. Those bracelets is the same ones that Apollo had. No. Is Apollo Thalassa's son? That would be crazy, and that would explain why Phoenix knew that Apollo had the same power at the beginning. He said, no, you're going to be fine. Like, you're going to be fine. So Apollo is actually Trucy's older half-brother. The fuck? I think I just stumbled upon something here. Holy shit. I've known Trucy since she was a little thing too. She got the better deal, really? She's got you for family after all. What do you mean? Just reminiscing, you know. Thalassa has another child besides Trucy. End quote. It's Apollo. It is fucking Apollo. What? But Trucy said she was an only child. Ah, yes, this one she had with her previous husband. Her previous husband? Her first husband who died during a performance. Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. That's another one who slipped through the cracks. No idea where they are now. Lost had another child. Do you think I could borrow that photo? Sure, I can be generous on occasion, you know. I won't need this locket anymore. Better return to Trucy before I forget. People at events all get tangled together and get bigger and bigger. Don't you think? I was too busy wondering about bigger to listen to what you were saying. Sometimes you just gotta accept that you won't be able to untangle it all, I think. Maybe so, but still. I have to do what I can, and I have to tell what I find to those who come next. Next, you say? I'm not the one who will close the curtain on this little play. Apparently that's not my role anymore. Magnifique? I was just wondering what Magnifique would think of all this. What do you mean? Haven't you seen it in Trucy? She's got his power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It was the same with Magnifique. And with his daughter, Thalassa. It's a strange thing. You think it's some Gramarye gene? Magnifique told me once back when Zack married Thalassa, he said Zack had good eyes. But not a good like a Gramarye's eyes, not that good. I wonder if Zack ever played a game of poker with his wife. Who knows what the Gramarye secret was? Maybe nobody, now that Zack's gone. Zack Gramarye. The plot had finally begun to reveal itself. It sprouted from a warp in the Gramarye fabric, and grew swallowing everything, wrapping itself around the Gramarye's power. Power which passed Magnifique Gramarye to Thalassa, to the next generation. I once again need to meet the one who bridged it all together. It all makes so much fucking sense now, you guys. Why he was so fixated on Apollo. I have to know more about this power of Trucy's. It's like she can see right into people's minds. The first time I saw her do it, it blew mine. And after you were done having your mind blown, you took her to play cards with you. Gotta use the resources at hand, I always say. I myself have no such power, but Trucy does. Why is that? Maybe Trucy got her power from her mother, the Lhasa Gramarye. I will not speak of that. Lhasa is officially missing, correct? I think I know why you don't want to talk about her. Because you might have been the one who killed her. The three of you were a team once. Not that the entire country doesn't already know this. At your peak, you were the biggest stars around. Yet, there's another story behind the fame. One that not many know. Lhasa lost her life during a rehearsal. To you and Valiant Gramarye's bullets. It was an accident! It wasn't me! How could I shoot my dear Thalassa? I'm sure Valiant would say the same thing. Why, it's just like another murder I might mention. Damn you! Her eyes. I loved Thalassa's eyes. To think they could read my mind was frightening. Yet there was a warmth in them that felt like an embrace. She is dead, and Magnifique Gramarye has joined her. The only one with her power left now is Trucy. Mr. Zack, I do not know. Don't need any power to see through that one, buddy. So there's someone else, someone other than Trucy. Someone who inherits the Lhasa's power. Ha ha! How would I know? My chances are slim. It would take a miracle to learn the truth. Or maybe one has already occurred. There is someone else with the power, and I know who. It's Apollo Justice. This boy. His name is, I forget, something weird. Who could he be? An attorney. Attorney? I noticed him when I went to visit a friend's law offices. So what are we to make of this, oh great ex-attorney? You can show me pictures of strange boys all you like. But you could at least say something like, I'm this boy, I could use a laugh. Perhaps you wouldn't laugh if you knew the facts. This might not be 100% proof, but it's close. There's a link between this boy and Thalassa. Actually, it's more of a ring. A ring? Perhaps this will refresh your memory. I just so happen to have evidence showing this is the missing link. Actually, I know something. Your marriage with Thalassa was her second. How did you know this? Her first husband. He died a year after they were wed, yes? He was a performer. He was a performer. They met when he joined us Gramaryes as a guest on our show. After Thalassa wed him, she left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then? I have a photograph of her here. I couldn't help but notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Those bracelets stand out. They are a Gramarye family heirloom. This boy wears a bracelet just like the ones in the picture. What? So, that's why. Why what, Mr. Zack? I took this photograph with Thalassa before she left us. When she returned, she wore only one bracelet. But I know where that other one went. She gave it to this boy, her son. Damn you guys, what a fucking twist! This strange power. I myself do not know from where it comes. Yet the fact is that it is passed down the Gramarye's line. It runs in their veins. What is it? I asked her, Thalassa, once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others. Tension? If she were to face a person and they became tense, even slightly, then she would know, no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her. So she could see it. Not quite. This is the strangest part of all. She wouldn't realize that she was subconsciously detecting this tension. Without the use of a particular object, or in her case, objects. Objects? Wait, were they something she wore? Yes. Her bracelets. I admit the first time I saw one of those, I felt there was more to it than just fashion. What kind of power could a bracelet have? I have made a decision. I will tell you all I know. Consider it a gift. Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two are brother and sister. Yes. And the brother, too, has this power of theirs. So Trilogy has an older brother. Wonder what will come of that. Mr. Wright, tonight, after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. I would not see her live a life without knowing. I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. I am in your debt, once again. No kidding. What I want to know is how all this got to be so messed up. Those bracelets are made of a special alloy. It is said to expand and shrink, very slightly, in response to body warmth. So they're temperature sensitive or something? Yes. This is how they can shrink to the exact size of their wearer's wrist. And this has something to do with the power. What have I told you? The Gramarye power reacts to tension in others. When a Gramarye senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates into minute contractions of the muscles. So minute, they cannot sense it on their own. Their muscles? Oh, so that's what the bracelets are for. The bracelet on, one can sense those contradictions. Because the bracelet is always a perfect fit. So when the person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrists. Precisely. But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading. I believe I understand how the process works from there. It's a simple question of eyesight. Eyesight? Guess that sounds simple enough. Have you ever heard of kinetic vision? Something about the ability to see moving objects with full clarity, right? I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped if they focus. Oh, but it's not confined to sports alone. Ours lies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we can see many things. The faintest twitch of the face, and the meaning that lies behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. One must know the mind of a crowd before one may distract it. So basically what you're saying is, the Gramaryes can see really well. For them, seeing is more than believing, it is knowing. The power relies on eyesight combined with exceptional focus. Things are starting to come into focus for me too. Of course, it is difficult to maintain such levels of focus for any length of time. But what if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something? Precisely. But wait, Trilogy doesn't have any bracelets. You are talking about Poke, yes? The timing of when to focus is so elementary, she probably does it without thinking. And now Trilogy herself has realized this. That is all I know of things Gramarye. Thank you, Mr. Zack. If this boy's bracelet is the real thing, then he will use it before long, thereby awakening his power. I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game? Ah, I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I'll tell you of that night. That night? The night my mentor, Manaphy Gramarye, passed from this world to the next. There were 2 pistols, and 2 letters sent. This was Manaphy's test. A test? His last year as Manaphy Gramarye worked us to the bone. No, to the pain. But that night I could not shoot him, so I shot the clown's forehead instead. This, it seems, was the correct answer. Take this. I give my art to you, Zack. What? Just thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. But I would not have minded dying by your hand. How could I shoot you? You're my mentor. Bah, thought you might say that. If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then? And of course, I would have given Valent his chance. If I had shot you in the forehead instead, then it would be over. If you or Valent were here to shoot me in the head, then I to the darkness would go, and my art with me. A fitting end, don't you think? Ah, yet this ending too gives me no cause for regret. I thank you, Zack. And I am sorry. I had done much that was wrong in my day. Seems to me that Magnifi wanted you to be a successor all along. That's why the time he gave you was earlier than Valent's. Perhaps, but it is not something we will ever know for sure now. I wonder, what is Valent up to these days, waiting for you to die? For 7 years passed like this, the performance rights go to him. Ah, now here I am, and his dream is ended. It's worse than that, actually. Public opinion's a fickle thing, you know. What? You don't mean to tell me they put the blame for our mental death on him? The trial ended when you vanished, Mr. Zack. There are even rumors that Valent had helped you pull it off. But that's madness! Well, it seems that before I can once again disappear from this world, I have one more act to perform. Isn't it odd that sorting out my life should prove so complicated, even though I'm dead? That night, Zack Gramarye was killed. He died as Shady Smith, a mysterious traveler with a secret past. But he left one thing behind before he parted, this. His confession, to use as I saw fit. To whom it concerned, 7 years past, I, Zack Gramarye, murdered my mentor, Magnifi Gramarye. Judged for the trouble caused by my sudden departure from Canton, hereby confess. Of course, he'd killed no one. This was his way of tying up loose ends with his old partner, Valent Gramarye. Oh boy, what a drop of information, you guys. Well, this is a blast from the distant past. Long time no see, Mr. Valent. 7 years has it been? Frankly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Actually, I came here because there's something I want to ask you. I've spoken to the press. I have nothing more to say. I've spoken to a lot of people myself and come to some conclusions. But then I realized I needed to hear it from you.